Okay, this first part will deal with the pinch clamp that goes around the sector shaft. It's kind of a tight area to work in. You can barely see that gusset on the back side here, and that's what this part clears. You'll obviously be pulling off the pitman arm, and you'll be welding on these pieces. You don't want to fully weld them while it's attached to the steering box. You'll want to tack them in place. You don't want to overheat that. You'll burn out the oil seal on the inside of that. What has to happen is when you're done, you'll have these pieces like sticking off. And the angle may change a little bit on the commando. But when you're done, and it won't be a perfectly straight line, you're going to slice this. You can cut it with a Sawzall. I do it with a cutting torch just because it takes out more material. Because you don't want to drill those 2 bolt holes till everything's done and in position. Now, on the other side here, you can see this little square frame plate I have here. And that's this guy. And a couple of little gussets that brace that tube. I'll try and swing that down a little bit. Mine are kind of at a weird angle there because there's not much room on the older Jeep frames, on the full-size Jeep frames. I put 4 holes in these plates. I'm only using 2 of them. One of these holes existed. I'm not sure which one. I think it was that one, was already there and sleeved. I put 4 in the plate simply because I didn't know what I was going to have to hit. And that should cover the commando end. For Eric's Jeep, the newer one, his frame is shaped differently, and I'll grab a picture of that to add. I'll weld this piece on for him. That is a spacer because this whole thing goes back into an area up here, and it's not a flat area, and this gives you a flat surface to work off when you're done. The last part is this tube coming across from the frame to the pinch clamp. Probably the hardest part about this is smashing this piece flat here. When I first started building these, I would do it with a torch and beat them to death on an anvil, which wasn't very aesthetic. But if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. You want to compress that down, and really, to get it up in there, you mount the plate, you build the pinch clamp. There's a kind of a compound angle on that tube over there, and what you want to do is just tack it in place and then clamp this together so that you can get all your tacks lined up, and then you can pull it down and weld it up. And that'll pretty much cover that. Let me grab a picture of where this goes on Eric's Wagoneer. And actually, I'll just walk out in the yard. I've got my 83 sitting out here, which is going to be the same frame. It's probably covered with a ton of spiders. Yep. Many spiders. It's going to go in this hole and that hole, and if you can see, hopefully, that's why the little spacer is there, to give you a flat surface coming across.